All right, good evening. It is 5:32 p.m. on October 10th, 2024. I would like to call the special meeting of Lawrence Community Shelter Board of Directors to order. On our agenda tonight, the first item is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion passes. Next item on our agenda is consider authorizing the executive director to execute an agreement with Axcet HR Solutions for PEO services. Karen, you want to drive or do you want me to pull things up and you can walk us through it?
Could you pull things up and I'll walk you guys through it?
Yes,
I don't think I'll spend too much time going over what we talked about the last meeting. I'm just very aware that I did not make it clear that what Axcet would be doing is replacing a lot of the things that we already pay for. And so Christina had asked for a better way to show you guys what we are currently paying versus what we would be paying Axcet for the same things. And I know a lot of our discussion at the last meeting also revolved around, well, if this is purely for the 401k retirement plan, then, you know, we probably need to reconsider that and piece it out. So after having done this cost analysis, I think that if we were to go with an independent retirement broker, we would be adding to our cost and not cutting them. So Axcet can provide a time clock solution. I've received clarity from Jeannie that the monthly fee for that would be about $200. And so we're currently paying on average about $470 a month for a time clock. It conveniently is from the same vendor, except I think there's a little bit more integration with the workforce subs she gave me. There is no activation fee unless we wanted to have an actual clock on site. So staff would be able to clock in as they do now on their phones or on a computer. And so that would be the additional setup cost for the time clock would be, I think, $150, and that would include training, because the time clock they're providing from Swipe Clock would be a little bit more in depth. And then again, they have applicant tracking system, which is what Indeed is. So we would be able to post jobs on our website that would go directly to this applicant tracking system with Axcet's platform. They take care of payroll, which Kindred's currently doing, because they would be taking us on as a client. We would be part of their workman's comp insurance. So we would have savings there. And then they would also be our health insurance broker. So we would save that health insurance brokerage fee that we would need to pay annually. And then they also offer that EAP. So all of these things that we're already currently paying for, we would be paying an administrative fee to Axcet bi-weekly, and the difference I've calculated to be about $40.
Karen, I appreciate you putting all this together. I feel like it actually helped us to get it, to get a couple extra weeks just to put it together and discover the additional cost savings for the time clock option.
Yes. And not to mention, going back to the retirement plan too, Axcet is the fiduciary for the retirement plan that they're offering. And there is no additional fee for adding a retirement plan. We have the understanding that we need to be able to provide and offer a retirement plan as of January 1st, as per our union contract. They don't have any implementation plan startup. So if we didn't have that hard date of January 1st in place, our administrative fee wouldn't go up regardless. If we wanted to implement the retirement fee earlier, we could, or a retirement plan earlier, we could. So Jeannie made sure to make made sure to let me know that I emphasize that.
Does anyone have any questions about the analysis?
It's not about, it's just a kind of a color code question. There's several columns in blue and then there's two in black. I just wondered what the difference was there.
So the blue indicates things that I've just taken the average billing because we don't have it in our general ledger yet because I'm still working through a couple months close. The plan is still to have that completed for presentation for our regular board meeting on the 24th. So that's why it's in blue, is I just took a projection or estimate average and filled in for the rest of the months.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have a question on the large, bold explanation there saying Axcet provides all of the above and will replace current health insurance costs. Where is that showing up? I'm not sure where I'm looking for the current health insurance costs reference within this.
So at our last meeting, we had discussed having Axcet take over our health benefits as of January 1st. That's to minimize the inconvenience of having to do an open enrollment for the remainder of 2023. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for our employees to do that either. So we don't have that information, so I didn't include it. However, this is more of like a future basis. So as far as the remainder of 2024 goes, here's the cost that we're already paying. I haven't included insurance costs because we're not going to be with Axcet's insurance. However, my point of number 7 in my notes, excuse me, it says the above does not take into account Axcet's $1,400 transitional assistance program, which is their way of saying, okay, well, you're not going to be on our health insurance plan now, but we're giving you a credit to the end of the year. So they're giving us an extra $1,400 if we were to start November.
So do we know that their health insurance will cost less than our current approach to managing health insurance?
Generally, yes, if we were to join their master plan. So when we were getting the presentation from Next Step about their PEO services, their master plan was showing that they would be saving us about $18,000. I don't think that Axcet will have a savings similar to that. I'm not sure, and I can't speak to that. However, just in general, if we were to join their master plan, it would overall be cheaper for us. That's usually the case.
Who would be the carrier of the plan?
United.
United. And so is it just a part of a capture? Are we, what, or are they shopping out these plans independently?
So their master plan is with United. If we feel that their master plan does not fit our organizational needs, they can shop out independently for us with any of the other carriers. So currently we have Blue Cross Blue Shield. They would be able to shop for us, and not on an age band basis, but just on a general, like, this is what it's going to cost everybody regardless of age. Because right now it's age banded.
So are you imagining asking them to do that and then comparing that to their master plan?
Yeah,
Or-
I believe if we were to say, okay, yeah, we're going to do this with you, they're going to present their master plan as an option along with if we wanted to go ahead and shop the market.
when it comes to the health insurance plan, I'm looking at their packet where it kind of goes over what is covered under dental, vision, disability. Am I missing the page where it talks about kind of what the package is for health insurance? I mean, it has the, flex spending account details, but it doesn't really say any details on what the actual health insurance package is. And do we know if that package meets the requirements of our union?
The package will meet the requirements of our union. It is not in this proposal.
Isn't it weird that they left out? They put in
No,
vision, dental?
No. The
Okay.
vision and dental is pretty standard. I guess there's some deal with the health insurance where they can't get quotes for more than a quarter in advance. So when we got this proposal, it was September 18th. The next quarter that they would have been able to get a bid for was October through the end of December. We're planning on starting benefits January 1st. If we were to ask for an updated proposal to include that plan, I believe we would be able to have that. But at this point wasn't too much of a concern for us, just because we were wanting to get all of these other things in place.
What other questions do anyone have?
So now this is annual contract, is there a sort of a cancellation provision saying we have to notify them 6 months in advance if we wish to not auto renew or anything like that?
I'm glad you asked that, because that was brought up in our special meeting on Monday. And their requirement is 30 days. If we don't want to do business with them anymore, they just require 30 days notice, and that's it. There's no early termination fee. There's no kind of like ill will, nothing in place to discourage us from leaving them early, I should say. But yeah.
Yeah, on Monday, the exec committee meeting, we had Jeannie and then Derek is another member of their team that joined us and answered questions, and it was I think that was that when we learned about the time clock? I can't remember.
I learned about the time clock after the meeting.
Okay.
Because when I put this together, I wanted to get some of Jeannie's feedback just to make sure that I was putting together this cost analysis that was accurate to what she was showing us. And she had said, okay, well, no, we don't include the time clock. It's an additional cost, but there's still cost savings there because we also use Swipe Clock. Their integration is like Workforce Hub or whatever. But with our monthly spend average, that we would have a savings of $200 a month there. And that's fully integrated into their payroll HRIS system.
We also invited Jill and Misty into that meeting for them to be able to ask any more questions if they have.
They were there.
Jill was able to join at the very end. Misty was there for the duration of the meeting. I just wanted to make sure they didn't, that there weren't any concerns that they, weren't able to air out.
Missy was the one that really highlighted how I didn't really point out that we were already paying for a lot of these services that Axcet provides. So it's not that we're paying an additional cost. We're already paying these things. We're just consolidating them. The thing I keep thinking about is like, those really annoying progressive commercials where it's like you bundle and save. That's what we're doing here. We're bundling, we're saving, and then we're also getting more in terms of expertise because they will be helping us develop policy and safety, reduce our risk, which ultimately is a lawsuit's not something that we can afford, and we can't really budget for that either. So for me, that's like a big thing, is if we're really looking out for our budget, we need to reduce risk where we can. Being that payroll is one of our, it is our largest expense on our budget. We need to really pad up there.
I think these bullets here under strategic planning, they spoke to this quite a bit on Monday. Being able to help us understand, like, what's the appropriate compensation. They kind of balance out what they do for workforce versus like what's still on us to do. They don't make any hiring decisions. They don't do any firing. So there's like some of those really, clear actions that need to be happening by the employer. They're still fully on us, but they will provide a lot of, I guess, expertise around, like, is this the right job for the, like, if we want to ask their opinion on something, that if we're vacillating on whether it should be called this or that, they'll do the compensation studies also. So it's just, feels like there are certain pieces of work that they just routinely will do. And that's something that, I don't know that we have
We don't
all the
routinely do.
expertise. Yeah, we don't routinely do it. So it's just part of their normal operating procedures. So I think we're gonna get a different level of professionalism in HR that maybe people are more accustomed to in other organizations. And that's, I think, gonna help significantly.
So this move doesn't technically take anybody off the payroll,
No,
but enables that individual to focus in other areas.
I'd
yeah.
say more internally.
James,
She-
do you want to speak to that? In terms of like how Melanie's role will
Well,
change?
yeah, one of the things that we do now is that Melanie is responsible for making sure all payroll information is getting to the appropriate parties to get payroll met bi-weekly. A lot of those things will still take place, but once it's set up and done, she would just be ensuring that it's set up the way it should be, and Axcet will take over. One of the things that it will free her up to do is to do more policy, more adherence to our disciplinary, to do better onboarding with our staff and training and those type of things. So she won't be spending a couple of days doing payroll. Axcet will be doing that once it's already inputted in the information. So there'll still be a need for someone to be in that role, to be the intermediary between our agency and whoever we use. But it would just be with Axcet instead of with multiple systems. So.
Any other questions? All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'd entertain a motion. If someone feels inclined,
Do you have the language somewhere?
we just pull it right up here.
Oh,
So,
this has got to be really official.
well, so I move, that the board authorize the executive director to execute an agreement with Axcet HR Solutions for professional employer organization services.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay, motion's on the table to authorize James to execute the agreement with Axcet HR Solutions. Is there any additional discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for taking extra time in your schedule to do this special meeting. Are there any other items anybody wants to bring up while we're here?
I just want to say thank you, Karen, for always going beyond, above and beyond, making sure that you are a go-to with the information and you do a great job. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, I did that. Good job, Karen. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Now I'll
All right.
second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, meeting adjourned. It's 5:52 PM. Thank you.
That was efficient.
Thank you.